Welcome to this history presentation of the Kenmore, Washington city flag. It is our pleasure to present to you the history of the city flag that flies over Kenmore, Washington. The symbol of an emerging community, the crown that caps the north end of beautiful Lake Washington at a location once known as the Northwest Frontier Harbor. But as this symbol flows in the wind, we ask ourselves, what do we know about our flag? Where did it come from? Why was it created? Who was the designer? And what does the logo on the flag depict? To start, let's turn back in time. It is 1889, and Washington State, the last state of the Oregon Territory, joins the Union as the 42nd state. This new state is an untamed land of desert on the east, separated from the west by a high mountain range of vast wilderness and dense forest, interspersed with many rivers and lakes as it extends to the Pacific Ocean. 12 years pass. It is 1901, and into the Pacific Northwest, a Scotsman named John McMaster enters this untamed land and begins logging at the north end of Lake Washington. He constructed a shingle mill and a settlement for the mill workers. John's name for this new logging community was Kenmore, in honor of his beloved home in Kenmore, Ontario, Canada. The community continued to grow over the next 7 decades. It is now 1979, and the unincorporated Kenmore area of King County, Washington State, has grown into a community of many small businesses with a large residential population. In an effort to promote the pride, goodwill, and a positive image of their community, the Kenmore Chamber of Commerce assembled a committee identified as the Image Building Committee. The committee consisted of Chairman Leroy Annenson, pastor of North Lake Lutheran Church, Secretary Beverly Askew, wife of Bud Askew, warehouse manager of Plywood Supply, and members B.E. Bud Anderson, a local cabinet maker, Al and Sylvia Fountain, owners-operators of Totem TV and Appliance, a local appliance store, Jeannie McBee, administrative assistant of North Lake Lutheran Church, Walter Myers, president of the Kenmore Businessmen's Association and owner-operator of Walt's OK Tire Store, and Robert R. Reddick, an interested citizen. The Image Building Committee proceeded by discussing many ways of improving the image of the Kenmore community. Ultimately, they determined one of the best ways for image building was through a community flag. They concluded that a bright-colored flag is festive and creates unity as it flies along streets, on homes and businesses of Kenmore. And perhaps most importantly, the flag logo can uniquely convey the special features of the community. The community set to work by placing an article in a 1979 local newspaper explaining the intent of a flag and requesting public input and ideas for the design of the new flag. After receiving input, the committee concluded that the flag created for Kenmore should not only convey the past, but rather look forward into the future. Robert Cruikshank, staff artist for The Suburbanite, a local monthly magazine, volunteered his time and designed a logo to represent the committee's vision. The flag color would be gold, with a 4-part logo in the colors of white, green, blue, and black. The logo's white-capped mountains and evergreen trees are to remind everyone of the beautiful Northwest in which the Kenmore community is situated. Since the land area for commercial development in Kenmore is somewhat limited, the long-range plan proposed some moderate high-rise buildings. This progressive attitude is reflected in the designed skyline with a shadowed row of buildings. The seaplane, sailboats, and water depict the virtual harbor in the Kenmore community, a community featuring recreational activity and services, as illustrated by the moving seaplane, but also by a peaceful community in which to live, as represented in the tranquility of the sailboats. The committee's intent was that the Kenmore flag would proudly convey the beauty, progressiveness, and tranquility of Kenmore and its future. Brett Myers, another volunteer of the flag project, developed a silkscreen of the logo and processed a work-up model of the flag. The Flag Committee then arranged with the Victory Flag Company of Salem, Oregon, to produce the original flag. Soon thereafter, Leroy Annenson, chairman of the committee, drove to Salem, Oregon to deliver Brett's silkscreen sample flag to Victory Flag Company. The flag was born, and the original 50 flags were delivered. The new flag represented unincorporated Kenmore from its dedication on October 5, 1980, until the city of Kenmore was incorporated on August 31, 1998. With only 50 of the original 1979 designed flags produced by the Image Building Committee, their concern was the ability to have sufficient funds to cover the cost of production. The cost of these first flags was $17 each. Much of the pre-sale money was provided by the Greater Businessmen's Association at the urging of their president, Walt Myers. The Kenmore Chamber of Commerce, sponsor of the flag, also provided some of the funds. After their manufacture, all of the flags were sold and the two organizations were repaid. The original flags were manufactured of cotton canvas with a latex logo. Several of the originals are still in existence. In succeeding years, an order was placed for flags made from nylon material, a lighter fabric with more flexibility and durability. The new Kenmore flag was officially dedicated in a unique ceremony at 3 p.m. on October 5, 1980. A large attendance included county and local leaders, a community choral group, and local Kenmore residents. Master of ceremonies for the dedication was former longtime Seattle radio talk show host and Vice President PR of the then Shoreline Savings and Loan, Mr. Frosty Fowler. The flag arrived at the dedication ceremony in 4 stages of delivery in order to incorporate a bit of the history of Kenmore. First, Donald Abel of the Mountain Men transported the flag by canoe down the Sammamish Slough, meeting in the middle of Lake Washington with a Kenmore Air Harbor seaplane piloted by Tim Brooks. Tim flew the seaplane with the flag over Kenmore, landing and transferring the flag to bicycle rider Gregory Reddick. Gregory rode his bicycle and met with the Interlake Mountain Men, passing the flag to them. The Mountain Men, a local encampment reenactment group, completed the final leg of the journey. They escorted Tammy Abel, riding Krusty the Donkey, to the dedication site at the corner of Northeast 181st and 68th Avenue Northeast. The Kenmore flag, together with the United States flag, were raised on the dual flagpole located on the southwest corner of Northeast Lake Washington Sewer and Water District property. Both the flagpole and the property were facilitated by James P. Grimes, Water Division Manager, and the Commissioners of the Water Sewer Utility. During this period of time, the 1980 presidential inauguration of Ronald Reagan was taking place. A flag and presentation plaque were prepared to present to him. However, because of scheduling conflicts, this presentation did not occur. Unfortunately, later attempts to transfer the flag and plaque have been unsuccessful. The Chamber of Commerce met on Wednesday of each week at a luncheon meeting around the Kenmore area. It was decided that Wednesday would be the day for everyone to fly their flag, an unofficial weekly flag day. They also needed flag holders along Bothell Way, the major roadway passing through Kenmore. Thus, another project undertaken by the Image Building Group at this time was the beautification of Kenmore. It was decided to build 10 flower boxes on the north side of Northeast Bothell Way and incorporate a flag holder on each. 3 businesses, Knoll Lumber Company, Plywood Supply, and Kenmore Premix supplied the materials for the project. The flower boxes were constructed under the direction of Bud Anderson, a local cabinet maker. During the 1980s, the flower boxes were maintained and the flags were flown from them every Wednesday. The business community rallied to support the flag. Knoll Lumber Company, a local hardware and lumber supply outlet, had T-shirts made up that were yellow in color with the flag logo centered on the front side. These were given to the employees as their official work shirts. In 1989, a Kenmore flag and plaque were prepared for presentation to the state of Washington in celebration of the Washington State Centennial Year. Accepting for the state and Governor Booth Gardner was our state's First Lady, Mrs. Jean Gardner. The original Northwest Frontier Harbor theme was considered important so the community could reflect with pride on its past. This had been done for many years through the observance of a yearly celebration known as Frontier Days. The Interlake Mountain Men held a prominent place in the activities. They would set up their reenactment camp at a prominent location in Kenmore and thus become a major focal point of the event. During the 2 to 3 day event, the mountain men and women would demonstrate their skills of outdoor food preparation and early pioneer lifestyle and activities. They also became a colorful part of the final day parade. As time went on, however, the Mountain Men group became depleted as replacements dwindled, and thus the centerpiece of Frontier Days also dwindled. As the disappearance of the Mountain Men coincided with the incorporation of the city, a new theme emerged. Starting with the first birthday of the city, the new theme, Good Old Days, began. This successor event sought to enlarge the annual parade, with even greater emphasis of the Kenmore flag, and in recent years adding more community information, food booths, carnival rides, and an evening finale featuring a public display of fireworks. After incorporation of Kenmore as a city, one of the original designed flags was received for the city by Kenmore's first mayor, Jack Crawford. Presenting the flag was Leroy Annenson, one of the original members of the Image Building Committee. On September 23, 1998, the city adopted a slightly modified version of the original flag, thereby giving the city of Kenmore its official city flag. David Marin, co-chairman of the Kenmore Incorporation Committee, and Alga Janssens, a graphic artist who donated her time and skills, designed the modification and created the flag that is today the city's official flag. The original flag logo was retained and reworked in design to include the words Kenmore by the Lake in place of the word Kenmore. Blue herons were added because the heron is the official bird of the city of Kenmore, with numerous rookeries throughout the area. In respect of their original flag, remaining members of the original flag committee requested the city proclaim an official Flag Day in Kenmore. The City Council, to honor both the spirit of their flag and commemorate the anniversary of the city's incorporation, by proclamation on May 8, 2000, proclaimed August 31st of each year as official Kenmore Flag Day. On Friday of each week of the year, as you look around Kenmore, you will see the bright yellow Kenmore flags flying from flagpoles, storefronts, and many homes. The reason for this display is that the city has also proclaimed Friday as the weekly Kenmore Flag Day. In 1998, as Kenmore was incorporating into cityhood, a small group of individuals were forming the Kenmore Heritage Society, an organization to preserve Kenmore's history. As one of their many undertakings, they formed a Kenmore Flag Committee. Leroy Annenson, original Image Building Committee member, and Les Eaton, former Kenmore Fire Chief, were appointed to provide direction in the preservation of the Kenmore flag. To preserve the history of the original flag design, Anunson and Eaton suggested the adoption of the original flag logo as the official letterhead for the Heritage Society. The idea was accepted, and the old flag design is now preserved. Secondly, it was suggested that permission from the city be obtained for the Heritage Society to produce a quantity of the new city-designed flags for resale to the community. The city granted permission, and work began on calling for bids for the flag production project. Bids were opened from 4 flag companies, with Cuddy Sark of Bellevue being the winning bidder at a price of just over $8,000. This price was way over the expectations of the Heritage Society, and they began to wonder if they were going to be able to continue with the project. However, members of the Kenmore Community Club offered an interest-free loan to the Heritage Society to cover the cost of the flags. This offer was accepted, and the production of the redesigned Kenmore flag became reality. The Community Club loan was paid back in full. The continued support and the purchase of Kenmore flags contributes to and helps support the programs of the Heritage Society. To obtain your flag, or for more information, you may contact Kenmore City Hall, and they will put you in contact with a flag representative. At the time of this presentation, a 2-foot by 3-foot and a 3-foot by 5-foot flag are available for outdoor or indoor use, and a handheld 4-inch by 6-inch are also available for desk or tabletop display. Lightweight flagpoles are also available. Today, Kenmore, Washington is one of the few American cities to have and fly their own flag. The citizens of the city can proudly look back at a handful of dedicated individuals and extend a debt of gratitude. Those few who wanted to promote the pride, goodwill, and positive image of their community made the difference and gave us our Kenmore flag. Thank you for sharing your time with us. And as we close this presentation, we are viewing the flag as it was and how it is.